Hello, hello. It is Sam, and you are listening to the Built by Sam mini podcast. And today we are on episode 2 of the podcast. So, last episode I talked about 3 things that I was happy with my very first ever bikini prep. And today we're going to talk about 3 things that I wish I could change or that I would do differently from my 2020 or my 2017 bikini prep. So, these are going to be lessons that I learned the hard way, and I don't want you to have to learn them that same way. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes so you can avoid them. Okay, so first one is I had no post-show plan. Nothing. I didn't even know having a post-show plan was even a thing that you needed to worry about. I didn't even know post-show was post-show. I just like, oh, okay, we're done. For my very first prep, I was on a very strict meal plan. And after the show, there was just nothing. It was just, Sam, frolic and be free. Do whatever you want. It's fine. I didn't have a post-show lifting plan. I didn't have a post-show eating plan. I didn't have a post-show plan at all. There was nothing. It was just, I'm done, and now I can just go back to normal. That is something I do not recommend. I recommend at least having somewhat of a plan for your post-show. Do you plan on still following your macros? Do you still plan on following your meal plan? Do you still plan on following your same lifts? What are you going to do with your cardio? You need to know exactly what you're going to do post-show so you have that focus. Because I know that with no focus, it can feel quite challenging. The second mistake that I made was I went on vacation immediately after my show. This is a big, giant no. This is actually a mistake that I remade, unfortunately, this most recent prep, and I would still consider it a mistake. So I learned my lesson, but not really because I did it again. But the third mistake I made will help all of these other mistakes. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, second mistake I made was I went on vacation post-show. So the situation was right when I started my very first prep, I actually moved to San Diego and I picked a show back home here in Iowa to do for my very first show. And my plan was do the show and then stay for a couple weeks to visit home. So vacation essentially right after my show, and not ideal, especially with no plan and especially with mistake number 3 I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. So what happened was I was on vacation. That means vacation mode, going out to eat a lot, eating a lot of snacks, not worrying about working out too much. I did still run. I run pretty much all the time because I enjoy it so much, but getting to a gym when I stay at my mom's, not really possible. She lives in the middle of nowhere, so lifting was not on the agenda, and I basically just ate whatever I wanted, and I went out to eat to all the restaurants I missed, went out to eat with all the friends I was seeing, went out to eat a lot. And really, what happened with all 3 of these mistakes is I gained all of the weight back I lost during prep in about 2 weeks. Like, I know people like, you can't gain a weight that fast. You can. I ate a lot of food. I felt like garbage, and it was not super fun. So that third mistake that I'm saying or have been alluding to is I didn't keep my coach. But like I said, my coach ghosted me the day before the show. So I'm going to cut myself a little bit of slack here. It wasn't completely my fault, but having a coach makes a huge difference. And I know this now. I didn't know that then, but then there were shows where I did keep my coach post-show, and the accountability and the support and the expectation that I would stick to plan helped me stick to the plan. And we had a plan because I was with a coach, so she helped me make the plan. And having that support really, I knew I had to check in with her. I knew I had to do pictures. So I was like, well, when I was tempted to go off the plan or whatever it may be, or skip or do anything like that, like, do I want to have to tell her on my check-in that I went off plan or that I didn't do my workout? And I'm like, well, no, but I also am not going to lie. So that would help motivate me to stick to the plan and just follow through with it, which was great because I had one of my best post-show experiences when I had my coach, and I kept her for about 5 or 6 months, I think, post-show. And the reason that helped so much is because when I didn't have a coach like that, for that 2017 show, I struggled a lot with impulse control when it came to food, and it was really hard for me to stop eating once I started. I remember it was really difficult. I guess I could go into a whole episode about how that first show and food felt and the mindset around it, and then how it changed with coach and how it's gotten better over the years. But that could be like a whole nother episode. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. I'm not going to claim I'm perfect yet, but I've gotten much better and it's much easier post show than it was that very first time. But yeah, really to sum up, my advice is keep your coach post show. How long? It kind of depends I mean, if you can keep your coach just straight through your off season into your next prep, I mean, that's definitely the most ideal, because that's how you guys like really get to know each other and really get on that same wavelength and vibe and really know how everything works together. But at least keep your coach for a couple, 3, 4, 5 months post show, so you're fully reversed and feeling good and confident. And that's what I recommend. So keep your coach, have a plan, and don't go on vacation. So that's one of the biggest things. A lot of people go on vacation and it just makes it so much harder. So you want to stay in your normal routine as much as possible, at least those first few weeks to a month and a half post show, so you can really reassimilate to not being on prep, because it's definitely a mindset. It's jarring not to have that show coming up, and unless you've been through post show, it's really hard to explain that how it feels. It's like a switch, and it gets so much harder because you don't have that draw of that show, and it gets easier the more you do it, but after that first one it's tough. So okay, so I think those are my big 3. There's definitely some more like little funny ones, which I'll probably go into eventually, like one tan regret that I was like, oh my, that should not have happened. But that is it for today's episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can email me at hello@builtbysamlee.com, or you can just leave a comment under this video. And if you're enjoying it and you want to support the podcast, please share with your friends so they can get on the list and they can join our happy little mini podcast family. But otherwise, I will see you in episode 3, and peace out.